Bundy pinned this man one time. Pinned him again for a 5 count.
He told the referee keep counting to 5.
The fact of the matter is this: on the five-time WCW champion. Now can you dig that?
Oh, what is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of 5 Count. My 5 takeaways from tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown, live from Saudi Arabia. Let's before we get into this this review, I do want to let you guys know what we have coming up this week on the channel. Tomorrow night, the Wrestling with Reality crew will be in full effect, full strength, as we do a watch along to the main event, Cody versus Logan Paul. And then right after that, we'll go ahead and review King and Queen of the Ring. So we do have that. We're set to go live about 3 o'clock, depending whatever time the main event comes on. And then this Sunday, we have a special episode of Man Talk Monday at 12 p.m. because Monday being Memorial Day, we aren't really doing anything. So with all that being said, now that I got all that out of the way, let's get into tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown, which, again, to me, SmackDown is consistently just a good show. I think if it was a 90-minute show, it would just be tremendous. If they can cut out some of the filler and things like that, some of the backstage segments, which these backstage segments, it led to there was a means to an end for this week. So I didn't mind it too much. So let's get into my number 5 takeaway from tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Friday Night Smackdown. We're live, pal. I'm already messing up. I've been a rough day at work, man. Rough week. So there was a backstage segment after the Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax match where Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae came out and they were, kind of messing with Bianca. All of a sudden, Jade comes out to her rescue, and then she's like, let me go talk to Nick Aldis. So you knew where that was going, that she was going to talk to them so they could have a title match. So here's my problem with that. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell haven't beaten anybody. So the fact that they even get a chance to fight for the titles is absolutely ridiculous. Furthermore, what really makes this even more ridiculous is that there was just a match 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw for the number 1 contenders for said tag team titles, with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark won. So now you mean to tell me the team that actually won the Fatal 4-Way match now has to wait in line for a team that hasn't won a match collectively in God knows how long? I doubt collectively they've won a match this year. I know Candice LeRae has picked up a couple of cheap wins over Maxine Dupree, which is, everybody should be beating her. But they have not won a match collectively as a team this year. I doubt it. And if they did, it maybe was 1 or 2. So that's just utterly ridiculous. And it's the problem that WWE has right now. They have all this talent and they feel like they have to just get everybody shoehorned in on the shows. Everybody doesn't get to be on the shows. If you're not getting over with the crowd If nobody cares about you, spend some time in developmentals. Spend some time on the road getting your character over. Everybody does not need to be on the big shows. I know why they want Bianca and Jade on there, because they're megastars. I get it. So if you wanted to do that and you just wanted to shoehorn a team in there, how about giving Kairi Sane? I know Asuka's hurt, but how about giving Kairi Sane and Io Sky, or Kairi Sane and Dakota Kai a shot? I mean, the champions, they used to get a rematch. So how about giving them a shot if you wanted to give somebody a title shot on this show? Now, I know it's going to be on the pre-show. That's fine. That's not the point. The point is Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell have done absolutely nothing to deserve a title shot. And it's just ridiculous. You have Caden and Katana. And like I said earlier, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler won the actual match that determines the next challenger for the titles. And now they aren't on this show. I mean, they may be holding that off to SummerSlam or whatever, but they aren't on this show. But you're putting two women that, which I really like, by the way, especially their NXT stuff. But you're putting two women on this show that haven't won a match in a year. I mean, all year. That's ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. But the fact that I spent so much time on it is bothering me more than it should. So let me move on. My number 4 takeaway from tonight's episode of SmackDown is, oh my goodness, Piper destroys Bayley. So again, here we have your women's champion, Bayley. Right now, she kind of doesn't have a program. I guess they're just keeping her warm until her and Tiffany meet each other for SummerSlam. Well, I mean, plans may change with that. But so yesterday, I think it was, Triple H announced that, because we've always been saying, hey, what does the winner of these tournaments get? So Triple H announced yesterday that the winners get title matches for their respective brands at SummerSlam. So this is kind of going to make things a little different for my predictions. So right now they just need to do something to keep Bayley occupied before she eventually takes on Tiffany Stratton and loses the belt. So my thing with this is, why is Chelsea Green getting a match with Bayley? Now, they didn't announce it as a title match, so I'm not sure if it was a title match. Hopefully it wasn't. But again, Chelsea Green, fantastic character. But Chelsea Green hasn't won a match all year. So why does she get to fight the champion? I mean, it's utterly, it makes no sense. That's why WWE needs at least a top 10 list. That is one thing that AEW does right, is with their top 10 list. At least if Chelsea was on that list, then it would be justified that she's getting a match with the champion. But nevertheless, Bayley makes quick work of her. Actually, that match went a little too long. Bayley gave too much to Chelsea. That kind of bothered me. But at the end, Piper Niven just came in and just destroyed Bayley, which is good, because you have that Clash in the Castle. You have the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view coming up. I think that's the spot that you want to put Piper on that card, taking on Bayley, even though it'll be in a losing effort. At least she gets that chance in front of that crowd. That'll be going apeshit crazy for her. So I think this is a good look, because Piper has been Chelsea Green's second, and she's been the lackey to Chelsea, and Chelsea's been getting all the shine. So now it's time for Piper Niven to get some shine here. So I'm okay with this. Not deserving, but if you're just going to be shoehorning people in the title matches, it's fine. So my number 3 takeaway from tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown, Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. So I stated when this happened, I think this match is going to be phenomenal, hence why we're doing a watch along to this match. But the build is ridiculous. The story is ridiculous. And the fact that they wedged Logan Paul in there, and then they realized, hey, we got to get that U.S. title on LA Knight. And if Cody wins both belts, how are we going to do that? So they corrected that, and it's only Cody's title on. Tonight, they made me care. So they did this angle where Logan Paul gave up his brass knucks to Michael Cole, but you knew he was just, full of crap. He wasn't going to not have his brass knuckles. So they're having a back and forth. But what I liked about this is that we got serious Cody Rhodes. We got Cody Rhodes that put him over. So the problem with John Cena, and I bring John Cena because John Cena is the man, but the problem with John Cena, he never made you feel like any of his opponents could beat him. He would always tear his opponents down, whether it was Bray Wyatt, whether it was Rusev, whether it was Alex Wright. It didn't matter who it was. He'd always tear them down and just, basically say, hey, the only reason you're in this match is because I need an opponent. That's literally how he would treat them. But tonight, Cody did what champions do. You elevate your opponent. Why would I want to see Cody versus Logan if I don't think that Logan Paul could be in the ring with Cody? That makes absolutely no sense. So Cody Rhodes tonight put Logan Paul over and said, hey, you are a professional wrestler. I love when they throw the professional wrestler in. He just says, I don't think you're serious enough. And he said, hey, I'm the champion and you're not on my level. He put him over just to knock him down. And that's perfectly acceptable. That's what you do in wrestling. If you go out and you tell everybody, oh my God, I'm going to kill this guy sucks, he's no good. Well, so why is he in the ring with you? Why did the organization think that he should be the next person that should wrestle you? That would just make absolutely no sense. So I love the fact that Cody got serious tonight. And I love the fact that they didn't have to get physical. I mean, they'll have the match tomorrow. I love the fact that Cody just really put him over. And for that one moment, you got a serious looking Logan Paul. Like, you made Logan Paul look serious. Like, hey, I need to take this serious. I'm not just laughing and smiling and everything like that. And I think the match is going to be phenomenal. So tune into the channel tomorrow. We'll be doing a live watch along to it. So let's get into my number 2 takeaway from tonight's episode of SmackDown. The number 2 takeaway, the potential SummerSlam main event. So, as I stated earlier, Triple H mentioned in a press conference that the winner of the tournament gets a title match against their respective champion. So, the finals, as we all know, is going to be Randy Orton versus Gunther. And now I have Gunther winning this entire tournament, which would mean that Gunther would face Drew. Would it be Drew McIntyre or Damian Priest for the title at SummerSlam? Because Triple H made sure to say it's your brand specific. So it's not you picking whatever champion you want to face. But now Cody's going to need an opponent. And so Cody's walking and Randy Orton walks up and they shake hands, but Randy Orton gave him that look. He gave him that look like, hey, I've been a babyface long enough. It's time to go back to the old Randy Orton. And I feel a RKO coming out of nowhere on Cody. I see a RKO in his very, very near future. Under this new regime, I see potentially a punt kick coming up in Cody's future. So I'm very excited. SummerSlam is in August. We're going into June. So you got 2 months to build this. And you could build it right on the legacy. I mean, this match writes itself. Randy Orton is on fire lately. And I think he needs a run with Cody. He would legitimize Cody. I mean, Cody's going to give you a good match no matter what. You're going to get a good match from Cody. But I think an opponent like Randy Orton would really, really legitimize his title run right now. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm almost certain that this is possibly the direction that they're going in for the main event of SummerSlam. Speaking of SummerSlam, it was announced tonight that SummerSlam in 2026 is going to be in Minnesota and it's going to be 2 nights. I know I got a call earlier saying it was going to be 2 nights this year, but it's not. It's going to be 2 nights in 2026. I'm not a big fan of that just because I cover these shows and it's just more to cover. You know what I mean? And again, I don't think everybody deserves to be on a pay-per-view card. Pay-per-view matches should be given by merit. It's not like when when WrestleMania's the early WrestleMania cards used to have like 14 matches on it. Just nothing but bums. Just nothing but bums. I think I like when they do the cards like 6 to 7 matches, and that's it. Everybody doesn't get to be on there. Everybody doesn't need to get an award. We live in this society now where everybody has to get an award. No, you earn your keep. If your program is hot enough, then you get to be on the show, and that's just how it is. So I'm really excited for this because I absolutely believe Randy Orton is going to turn heel very, very soon. Possibly next week on SmackDown. He's going to turn heel very, very soon, and I see a punt kick in Cody Rhodes' future. Punt kick, or at the very least, a RKO out of nowhere. So my number one takeaway from tonight's episode of SmackDown is what it's been for the past couple of weeks. Let's get into the King of the Ring semifinals. So the semifinals over on SmackDown had Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton, which I thought was a really good match. I did not expect this match to go the way that it did. I thought it was going to be just a brawl, a sprint, but they actually had like a really good match. So here's what I say about that. This isn't the match that I wanted from Tama Tonga because he has this aura of just being like the hitman of the bloodline. So I don't want to see him going in there wrestling the match with Randy Orton. He needs to go in there and just be wild man, crazy, I'm going to take you out type stuff. What I would, now that this is over, now that we're in the finals, hindsight being 2020, I wish that Carmelo Hayes was in this spot, that they would have just redid the brackets to where Carmelo Hayes would have been the one in the semifinals, and it would have been him and Randy. Randy still moves on. That's fine. That's not the point. But Carmelo Hayes would have been better suited for this spot just because Tama Tonga's character doesn't fit him going in there and having a wrestling match with Randy. But it was a good one, though, nevertheless. So I'm not crapping on the match. I'm just saying for his current character, he doesn't need to be going in and having a wrestling match and then being pinned on top of it. He needs to go in there, at the very least, get disqualified. He doesn't need to be getting pinned because he's the enforcer. Well, I guess his brother is now. Him and his brother are the enforcers of the bloodline. So you don't want to see them eating pins. You remember when Solo first came, I think for like 6 months, Solo didn't get pinned at all. They had his brothers to take all the pins if they were going to lose. So it's just a little nitpick I have about that. But I thought it was a great match, man. Solo Sikoa gets up on the ring rope. Randy Orton knocks him down. Ends up hitting Tama Tonga with the RKO for the 1-2-3. After the fact they jumped on him, they beat him down, and a returning Kevin Owens came back for the save. Now, Gunther was sitting ringside. I thought for a minute that Gunther was going to come save Randy Orton, and I think the roof would have blew off of the place. Speaking of the roof blowing off the place, I thought the crowd in like the first 10 minutes of the show, the crowd, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a terrible crowd. But they woke up and they really, really start getting hyped. They weren't the France crowd. Nobody will ever be that crowd, but they were a really good card, man. A really good crowd. So I do appreciate that because, those Saudi shows, all the royalty there and things like that, they really, you can look at the looks on those guys' faces. They aren't even paying attention to the show. So I was really appreciative of the crowd. Like I said, Randy Orton did pick up the win. Kevin Owens did come for the save. So tomorrow in Saudi Arabia for the finals of the King of the Ring, Randy Orton, the ring general, the original ring general, Randy Orton taking on the ring general, Gunther. Man, I think this is going to be fantastic. Gunther is going to beat the ever-loving shit out of Randy Orton. He's going to chop him to death. And Tama Tonga did work on that leg a lot tonight because they've been selling the leg the entire tournament. It's been about Randy Orton's leg. And what move has Gunther been doing now? The half crab. Look for Gunther to tap Randy Orton out tomorrow night because Randy Orton could still face Cody at SummerSlam without winning this tournament. Gunther could win this tournament and face the world champion, while Randy could, which Randy is going to turn on Cody. I'm telling you that's going to happen. Give it 2 weeks at the most. Cody Rhodes has a punt kick coming. And you're going to get that legacy title match. You're going to get that legacy feud. Yeah, MD is definitely going to be a great match. But Gunther's gonna brutalize Randy because they sold it so perfect. And my final takeaway for this night, I'm just talking about the King of Ring in totality. So Randy Orton's been selling this leg injury the entirety of the tournament. So what? 3 matches. He's been selling this leg injury. So remember that. Remember what I said. Randy's been selling the leg injury. He came in, the leg injury was taped up. You know, he favored the leg. He didn't forget that he was selling the leg injury. So let's get to the other side of the King of the Ring tournament. You have Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax. And I'll be the first one to say this. I'm going to say something. All the women that are listening, that may listen, and shout out to you guys. My 5-count videos do really, really good. You guys don't watch them live, but you start watching them throughout the week, and I really appreciate that. I always look at the numbers on the 5-count stuff, and it's really good. And it's because they're less than 30 minutes. I get it. People consume information quick. They don't like these long, drawn-out shows. But let me say this. Bianca Belair and Nia Jax opened the show, covered from the neck down, and I thought they looked fantastic. I thought all the women tonight looked fantastic, covered up. That goes to show you. It's just like the old adage. You go to the strip club, you don't need to see them walking around butt naked. Leave something to the imagination. I thought those 2 women looked fantastic, covered from head to toe. They still were able to show their curves. Their face was still immaculate, but they weren't showing everything. And it gave the pervert WWE cameramen, they couldn't do all those up close crotch shots, which is almost becoming gross. And I see them doing it in AEW also. Every time a woman's down, they got the camera right up in their private area. That's disgusting. They got to stop doing that. That's like really, really, really disgusting. There's websites we could go to see that type of stuff. That's really, really disgusting. But I just wanted to throw that in, man. These women looked great tonight, you know, in their get-ups, and they're covered from head to toe. So again, here go a man telling you to cover up. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just telling you, leave something to the imagination. But let's get into the match. So there was the Sharia law. Well, yeah, we know it was Sharia law, MD. Hell, I saw a woman in the crowd had all you could see was her eyes. Like, so I know they become really lax with that over the years, but I like it, man. I'm just saying, you don't always have to have yourself exposed to the world. You don't. You know, leave something to the imagination. I know sex sells everything. It's fine, but leave something to the imagination sometime. But let's get into the match. So I thought this match was great. I'm telling you, Nia Jax, since she's been back, has been on fire. I picked Nia Jax to win this tournament. They should name the next Saudi PLE that. Nia Jax has just been on fire, man. Nia Jax still lays her shit in now. That's one thing. She's not pulling punches. When she drops that bonsai drop, she's dropping that bonsai drop. So there were some spots in this match that I was like, oh God, is Bianca really hurt? I'm like, oh, she gonna make Bianca sell that leg. So to the point of the match, for like maybe the first 3 minutes of the match, Bianca Belair completely forgot that she had a leg injury. Completely forgot. I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, are they dropping the angle of the leg injury? Because she's not favoring the leg, nothing. And then something just clicked where she was like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be selling the leg injury. MD's in the chat, just like he said to me, you could see Bianca like she's not fluid in the ring, so she counts her steps. And again, it's not a criticism of her, it's just an observation of her. I think she's, you know, one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. But she's still she's still relatively young in the business. Like, she's only been doing this for a couple of years compared to these other women. So you see when she's doing her moveset, sometimes it's not fluid. Like, it's just like she's counting steps and things like that. But so I thought this match was great. So Nia Jax is in the corner about to drop down on Bianca. Bianca gets up, gets her in the powerbomb position, walks her to the middle of the ring, and drops her for the powerbomb. Like, the strength on Bianca, I know Nia had to kind of, Nia couldn't dead weight her, because if she dead weighted her, there'd be no way she could get her up. But the fact that Bianca could get her up and walk across the ring with her on a hurt leg is phenomenal. Like, this woman's strength is insane. And that, like, really, really woke the crowd up. But the finish came where Bianca tried to go to the well one too many times. She tried to go for the KOD, and she almost got Nia up, but Nia fell on her. Nia, I love that. Nia, she just collapsed under Nia's weight. Nia fell on her. Nia got in the corner, hit her with the Annihilator for the 1, 2, 3. You rarely see Bianca get pinned clean. There were a lot of people saying that Bianca was going to be the one to advance in this tournament. I know this is Nia Jax's tournament to lose. I'm like, there's no way Lia Valkyria should be beating Nia Jax, because here's what happens now. When Bayley was coming to the ring, there was a backstage segment where they walked past each other, and Nia told her, keep the belt clean for me. Nia wins this match. Nia is Bayley's SummerSlam opponent. We can go back to the NXT TakeOver show. I think it was I want to say it was one that they did in England, where, like, that's when the crowd starts singing the hey Bayley, ooh, I want to know, can you be my girl? Something like that. So that's when they did that. But Nia was so dominant, knocking Bayley through the walls and things like that. And I think that's where they're heading. So that's what I'm saying. Randy Orton does not need to win this tournament. Randy can get to Cody without winning the tournament, but Gunther can't get to Drew or Damian without winning the tournament. Gunther needs to be the king of the ring, because the king of the ring is just a heel gimmick. Like, who the hell wants to see a babyface king of the ring? If you're the king of the ring, you get to proclaim that you're the best. That's a heel gimmick if I ever seen one. So I got Gunther winning the men's side, Nia winning the women's side. Now I know WWE doesn't like to do double heels on anything, but they have to. You got to make stuff make sense. I mean, Nia Jax we don't need to see no Rocky Balboa thing with Lia Valkyria winning. Lia Valkyria has won a couple of matches. She's given you the valiant babyface effort, but we got to start teaching people that the good guys don't always win. Sometimes in life, the bad guys have to win, and Nia Jax needs to beat Lia Valkyria tomorrow, and I think she absolutely is. Nia Jax is my pick for the queen of the ring. Gunther is my pick for the king of the ring, and we got the finals, Lia versus Nia Jax. I don't know how this match is going to be. I mean, because I don't know who's going to be leading that match, who's going to be the ring general in that match. This one might get a little sloppy, but, hopefully Nia comes out. But I think it should be a good card. Like I said, we'll be going over it tomorrow afternoon. We'll start the live stream about 3 for the watch-along for the Cody versus Logan Paul match. And then we'll just do the review afterwards, or we'll do the review during, however we decide to do it. We'll let the spirit lead us. And then you have AEW. You have AEW Double or Nothing Sunday. So on Wednesday's Wrestling with Reality, we'll be reviewing the AEW Double or Nothing show. So that's where we are this week. That's how the schedule plays out. And guess what? Those have been my 5 takeaways from tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Peace!
Bundy pinned this man one time. Pinned him again for a 5 count.
He told the referee keep counting to 5.
fact of the matter is this. On the five-time WCW champion,